What's trucking, y'all? It's your guy Naze, trying to give tips and strategies while trying to avoid tragedies. In today's video, I'll show you guys how to do an Allison transmission drain and also changing the internal and external filter. The external filter is located right here. And this is the pan. You'll have to drop the pan. There's 12 13mm bolts all the way across. But first you want to drain the drain plug, which is a 15mm. I already got it cracked loose. So what I'm gonna do is drain out the transmission fluid from the drain plug. Then I'll go ahead and drop the pan and change the external filter. Internal filter inside the transmission pan. And then lastly do the external filter there. So I will proceed to draining the fluid. It's already starting to drip. I just gotta take it off all the way. Also get you a 5-gallon bucket. If you're unsure of anything, just measure how much came out so that way you put in back the same exact amount. Okay, now the draining's complete. I'll take off the 12 bolts using the 13mm with the impact gun and an extension, all 12 bolts. You're gonna want to make sure to first put back the drain plug, and then after you drop the pan you can take off the internal filter and put the new internal filter. You're also going to want a bowl to put all your bolts in once you take them off, like so. Alright, the pan is all off. All 12 of the 13mm bolts are off. And we're going to get to the internal filter, which is right there. You can use the 5-gallon bucket to secure it once it comes off. Then you can move the pan to the side and take off the internal filter, and just simply pops out, put the new one in. And also you need that 5-gallon bucket to collect whatever fluid comes out when you take the filter off. And then you just throw on the new one. It's pretty straightforward. I'll show you once I get the old one off. Alright, I got the pan dropped. Here it is there. And here's the internal filter. It just simply pops out of where it's in right there. Right over there. And then you just pop the new one on. And once that comes out, a little more fluid should come out. So make sure you leave the pan right underneath it to collect whatever fluid comes out. And also there's a magnet that's inside of here you want to wash out. Once you get all that fluid out the pan, there's a magnet you want to brush off and clean. I'll show you in a minute. Alright, now that the pan is down, as you can see, the fluid is still coming out from the external filter. That's why you want to just leave the pan right where it's at. Let whatever excess come out. And once you remove the internal filter, then you can go ahead and move to the external filter. Then throw the new internal filter on, and then clean up the magnet inside this pan. Once you get that fluid out, then put back the pan and throw fluid. Pretty straightforward. Alright, so I got the pan out, got all the fluid out. That's the magnet I was talking about cleaning. Looks pretty good. I don't see much metal shaving. I'll just still wash the pan out. Use a little toothbrush or something, try to scrub some of this stuff off. Yeah, like that. Make it nice and clean and throw it right back on. There goes the old internal filter. I'll show you the new one in a minute after I clean the pan out. Alright, got it nice and clean. There were some shavings on the magnet itself. I wiped it up real good. Also wiped up the pan. Nice and clean. Now I'll throw it back on and also show you the new internal filter. Okay, so here's the new internal filter. You just pop it right on in that hole over there. And as far as the external filter, I decided I'll put it back on after I'll take it off and put the new one on after I put the pan on, because I just didn't want any debris getting in there while I was fooling around. It was kind of giving me a hard time coming off, so I probably got to get another kind of filter wrench to do that, and I will show you once I do that. So once you got the pan back on, you want to torque all the bolts. I'm gonna do 22 on mine. So here's the torque wrench. So you should hear a click once it hits your proper setting. I got mine set to 22, so this. So I got mine set to 22. Once it reaches that, it should make a click. It's kind of hard to record and do it at the same time. There's the click. So that's what you want to do for all the small bolts as well. So now I need to switch it over to 13mm and then tighten them down. I might have to get an extension. Alright, let's see if we can do this. But you get the idea though. Yeah, I'll need an extension. It's gonna be hard without an extension. But I'll do this one though, so you guys can see. Let's see here. Tighten it. Yeah, last thing you want to do is over tighten these bolts, or not tighten them enough, then you'll have a leak. It's starting to get pressure now. I should hear it click any second. I guess I'll have to tighten them all first before I move to that stage. Alright, so the filter was giving me, the external filter was giving me a hard time. So I ended up getting one of these. The smallest, I guess, yeah, the smallest size, because I couldn't find one of those cup ones that like go around the whole thing. So I had to use this, and it cracked it loose. It's not quite all the way off yet. So all you do is just put it on here, and then turn it all the way till it locks, and it should come off. I got it cracked already, so I will take it off. I got it cracked loose. It's draining, so make sure you have your bucket nearby. So far, this is how much fluid came out from the pan, and now from here should be just a little bit. I would think it's about, from the looks of it, 2.5, or yeah, about 2.5 gallons. I got 3 to put in, 3 gallons of new fluid. That's what they recommend. So I will, I'll do the measurements once I have everything drained out, and maybe put 2.5 or 3 and see how it goes. Also, once you get it off, once you get the filter off, there's a magnet on there that you should take off and clean. It's right on where it screws on. So that's where it screws on. The magnet's right here. This circle ring. I'll take it off and clean it up before putting on the new filter. So cleaning the magnet, then putting the magnet back on, and then you can put the new filter on. You're also gonna clean around the housing there where that magnet's at before and after, I guess. Once you take off the magnet, just clean around here. Get all the metal shavings that accumulated in that area. Then you can clean the magnet as well, and then put the new filter on. After you clean the magnet, put that on, then the new filter. Alright, got the magnet all cleaned up. That's the new filter. You want to make sure you lube the gasket with fresh fluid. You can add a little fluid in the filter too while you're at it. There we go. And just lube around the surrounding areas. I guess throw a little bit more in there. That should do it. And then we can throw it right back on. Alright, so before we put on the filter with the magnet, we want to give this housing a final cleaning. Make sure it's free of any shavings and whatever grime and whatever sludge you see in there. Just wipe it down pretty good. Make it nice and clean, just like how you would do with the pan before you put on the new filter. Get all those shavings off. Yeah, so you want to make sure when you put the new filter on the magnets there, because that will help collect metal shavings as well. So make sure that you have one when you're putting on a new filter. Alright, so there it is, nice and clean. We can now put on the new filter. Alright, so the new filter is on. Just give it a good snug tightening with one of these, or whatever you have, I guess. So when you add the new transmission fluid, it'll be right where you would check your fluid level, where the dipstick is. All you have to do is use a funnel. Just add some in. Mine took 2 gallons. Just barely over 2 gallons. I would say 2 gallons and half a liter. But it's good to have 3 gallons with you just in case you need more, or you can have a backup just in case you need it. And there you have it. These are the part numbers for what you'll need for the flush and filters. So the internal filter, that's the part number there. The external filter, the small filter, That's the part number there. And the fluid is here. You're gonna need 3 gallons of this. Also, you want to do this every 100 miles, 100,000 miles or so, or every 2 years is what they recommend. But if you go a little over that, I think that should be fine. But if you go too much over that, then you want to avoid doing this at all, because when you do it after it's too much past due, it'll cause more transmission problems, and you'll actually end up having more expenses than what you want. So either you want to do it at a decent amount of time, or if you're way too past due, then just don't do it at all and write it out until it lasts you. Hopefully you got something useful, and I will be doing another video for the oil change coming up. Thank you.